Father of 12-year-old twins. I'm kind of very interested in this next segment right here as we reach what is pretty much the midpoint of the summer. You know, kids aren't in school, they're not studying, but you really don't want their brains to turn to mush during these months, right? You want to make sure your kids' minds are still active and that they're learning over the summer so that when school does start up, it's not like a whole retraining process. Joining me now to talk more about this is Gerard Sands from a company called Wyzant Tutors, a nationwide company that tutors youngsters from elementary school through college. First of all, what is summer brain drain, as you call it?
It's the loss of, I call it the child going into neutral. At the end, school builds to the end of the school year. And it gets very hectic, especially for high school students, right, as exams wind up, and then the student or many children will tend to go into neutral.
Has research borne this out more or less?
Yes, it has. That students can lose 1 to 3 months of learning.
Meaning that
over the summer.
Meaning that when you go back, you're almost automatically in a remedial mode just to get yourself up and running again.
Exactly, which is a strain on everybody, including the teachers.
What are the ways that parents can try and avoid this? What are some of the suggestions you have to keep the brain cells activated during these
There
months?
are a couple of very readily available resources. One is the daily newspaper. There's reading, certainly, that can be done in the newspaper.
Reading is really it can be one answer overall, because books go by the wayside too.
Yes.
But newspapers, being day to day and being a little more in the moment, might be a good way to keep it going day to day.
And there are games in there. There's the Jumble, there are crossword puzzles.
Right.
For people who are numbers oriented, there's Sudoku, which I call the numbers crossword puzzle.
And you can also visit the library. In fact, many libraries have summer programs for kids to attract them. And
there's another benefit to the library. Everybody likes the word free.
I also, well, there's something else. Something else is free is watching Jeopardy. I love that suggestion right there.
Yes.
That is one. We talked about this before the segment. A lot of your suggestions here are the same types of things that you tell people who are aging and getting into their 70s and 80s to keep their brains active as well, watching Jeopardy, doing crossword puzzles.
Exactly.
Some of those things.
The cycle of life, do we want to say?
Yes.
But
well, you call it, instilled by your parents, lifelong learning, you call it.
Yes, exactly. My father retired in his early 60s and went back to Middlesex Community College and got 2 associate's degrees. And he gave the opportunity to college to the 4 of us. And up until their last days, my parents were watching Jeopardy every evening.
Have you found that this has gotten more difficult, and this is definitely coming from my family's personal experience, because the kids, they see summer, my kids see summer as more time to spend, with video games and Xbox, and that's probably not really going to help them come September 1st.
That's right. The electronic age, do I want to say, and social media. Certainly the way texting is done isn't conducive to good writing.
Correct.
We all know that these days. And video games are an activity. I think they're more an activity on the thumbs, though.
Right. Well, that's a conversation we can have another time. There are some good things about it in terms of, some of your talents, your visual talents.
Tactile.
But now, one of the things, I want to close with this, one of the things you make clear is this doesn't necessarily have to be something that you do for hours a day. You recommend if you can just get 20 minutes.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Is that enough?
It's better than nothing. Anything is better than nothing. And I think the moving towards realizing that learning doesn't take place just in a classroom is a lifelong lesson.
All right, it's a cultural thing, people. I'm here to tell you, if you don't start it early on, once they get to be 12, 13, 14, it's hard to change it anyway. Gerard, thank you so much.